What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Teddy B. Blackman, and I'm back with another free therapy video. And this one will be about healing from trauma. I guess you can put a slash and then I'll put grief as well, but more so about trauma. No specific kind of trauma, but just trauma in general. So, there are certain steps that generally happen with trauma. I got 7 that I'm gonna go over today, and then I'll basically be making up analogies along the way to give you the best example of said steps, and then basically the takeaway at the end. And yeah, this will be like free therapy. Should be charging y'all, which I lucky I love y'all out there, and I'm all about bettering people. So like, share this video. That's me charging. That's y'all payment. You know what I'm saying? So first, when it comes to trauma, the first step is shock and denial. Now, when somebody like leaves your life, you breaking up out of a relationship, or somebody dies or something like that, it's a lot of trauma that you're taking on mentally, physically, etc., etc. And you might not be able to handle that all at once. So what happens is either your mind or your body goes into a state of shock, and then one of the coping mechanisms with that is denial. You may, whatever the person did to you, you may not process it all the way. So you're not accepting yet of what happened. Whether a person's gone, no longer here, somebody cheated on you, you won't accept it off bucks, you know what I mean? Obviously the next step is pretty basic and head on. It's pain. Pain and guilt. Guilt is optional. You might not feel guilty, but everybody's gonna feel pain for the most part. Whatever the situation is, it's gonna hurt. Especially if it comes out of left field. Again, whether it's death of a loved one, you're getting out of a relationship, you got fired from your job. No matter what the situation is, pain is generally the next step, and it's going to be one of the biggest steps in this whole ordeal. Next, this could also be optional, is anger. Sometimes the pain turns into anger. Now this is normally also a coping mechanism, a defense mechanism. If you were done wrong in the situation, then your pain normally doubles as anger. I was saying anger, anger or whatever. If you got cheated on, you would feel like, well, why would they do that to me? I've done this, I've done that. I don't deserve this, I don't deserve that. You know what I'm saying? Or it can go in the opposite direction where it's not anger, and it's what they call mental bargaining. And it's when you make deals with yourself about the other person. Like, well, if they give me one more chance, then I'll be the best person they ever had. Or I'll do this, I'll do that, etc., etc. That's normally a step in this process as well. So, I mean, you could experience both at the same time, but it usually goes one way or another. Also an option, which is more than likely to happen, is depression. Also a coping mechanism for you to deal with said situation going on. Depression usually sets in if one of the previous options stays active for too long. You know what I'm saying? I can't give you tips on how to stop those actions from sitting in too long. So really, depression is really going to set in. Depending on how you deal with the depression, whether you go seek therapy, I also have other videos where I talk about depression and how to get through it and stuff like that. Whether you mess with your friends, whether you pull yourself out of depression, no matter how you get through it, the next step is the upward turn. And that's realizing that no matter what has happened up until this far, your life isn't over. And there's still more to be had and live in the coming days, weeks, years, however much time you're awarded to live life afterwards. It's not over. This isn't the end. Even though it feels like it, it's not the end. And after that comes reconstruction, and that's basically learning lessons from said situation, applying lessons to said situation, and reconstructing yourself to be a better person than you were beforehand. You know what I mean? Now all of this is easier said than done. But just keeping it real and letting you know what these steps are. And the last step would be hope. And that's realizing that once you become a different and better person, no matter what the situation is, you have hope that, you know, things will eventually, no timetable, so don't quote me on the time, no timetable, but things will eventually somewhat be stabilized and normalized again. Now, it was hard to do that without specifically honing in on a certain situation, so I tried to be as general as I could for multiple people watching videos and all of this and that. But that's basically the best I could generalize it, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, nobody goes through the exact same thing, even though we use like a fake basic structure to deal with multiple scenarios the same way. You know what I mean? So this is just my version of it. Hopefully it helps somebody out there. As long as it helps one person, then I'm good. But other than that, that is the basics on analyzing and dealing with trauma / grief. Definitely will be a part 2 to this video, but that would be more along the lines of grief. And that'll be later on, sometime in the coming months or whatever. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow, wherever you see this video at. Yeah, it's your boy Teddy B. Blackman, and I'm out.